Gamers, we're back with another one, and it is everything you need to know about Knight Templar. Now, we've done everything you need to know about House of Lancaster. We're live, we're doing a subathon right now. It is April 2025, so depending when you're watching this video, some things might be different, but I'm here to explain every single unit, every single bonus, and every single upgrade in the game that Knights Templar have, and they're a very, very unique civilization. So, let's get started. Knights Templar is a French variant, but once again, these two variants, House of Lancaster and Knights Templar, have pretty much nothing in common with the original civs. Especially Knights Templar, they don't have a single bonus or unit that is the same as the French unit. They have similar looking or same looking buildings, but they do not have landmarks, for example, and they do not have the same units nor the same bonuses. So have that in mind, it's a completely unique civilization. It's a 2 difficulty civ. Age up at the town center by establishing a commandery. So you do not have landmarks as Knights Templar. You do not build a landmark in order to age up. You age up in your town center, okay? Commanders permanently unlocked units and bonuses. Every time you age up, you pick between 3 different age ups, and each age up gives you a unique unit and a unique bonus. You have Pilgrims, which generate gold by traveling to the sacred sites. That's one of their economy or economic bonuses. You can build fortresses in Feudal Age, so they do not have keeps, they have fortresses, which I'll explain a little bit more in a second. Fortresses also increase the range of nearby units and health of nearby stone walls. They act as landmarks, but can be fully destroyed. So one very important thing, when you start the game with Knights Templar, your TC is a landmark. You do not have any other landmarks until you build a fortress. But once the fortress is destroyed, unlike other landmarks that you can just repair, your fortress cannot be repaired. It will act as a landmark, but once it's destroyed, it's destroyed. And you can also have 30 landmarks with with Knights Templar. So if you're playing a nomad, you can basically put fortresses all over the map and you cannot get landmarks sniped. So there's no landmark limit to this civilization. Lumberjacks deposit wood automatically and gather faster with each age. So they do not have lumber mill. They drop off into thin air, which you'll see. Siege workshops and siege engines cost less wood, and trebuchets fire additional projectile. But enough yapping, let's get into it. We turned on the cheat code so we can build buildings faster, but I'm going to show you literally everything you need to know about them. Knights Templar will be one, if not the best water civilization in my opinion. Why? The reason is very simple. Their villagers do not need to drop off wood, which means that you do not need to build lumber camps. And not only that, but they have a unique bonus that villagers gain 20% of the wood as additional food. So if you're having 1,000 wood per minute, you will have 200 food per minute from that. What? And the fact that they don't have to drop off wood means they're going to be a very good water civilization. They do not have lumber camp. They do have increased wood gathering already, and each age up they will gather faster and faster and faster basically. Now the way they work, just to chop down the tree, let me show you here really quick. So the way that works is they do not hold trees and then drop off. They do not drop off trees anywhere. If you look, I'm actually going to spend some resources so you can guys see the income. So look, I have 99,000 wood right now, and if I put the villager, it doesn't gather to a certain amount, it immediately drops off 1 wood at the time. So if you have 5 villagers in wood, this is what it looks like. And this is another reason why this civ is so good on water maps, is because they don't need to, you know, sometimes you're making a fishing ship and you don't have quite enough wood. Well, they don't have that problem. You can literally make fishing ships very, very efficiently and very, very good. And you can see I'm getting food income from chopping the wood as well, which if I make some villagers, you will be able to see that my food count is increasing as well. And yeah, no lumber camp, so no problem. You can even put 1 villager on each wood like this for more efficiency, so I have to move less because You don't lose anything by doing that. And they do not have wood upgrades, which is a pretty good thing because you don't have to spend resources on that. Now, let's talk about water. One thing you're already noticing, perhaps, is they do not have trade ships. They're galleys, hulks, and demo ships. They're standard. Again, nothing crazy there going on. They have a unique upgrade, which I actually didn't even know because I didn't play them on water. Upgrades hulks with flaming ballistas, which increase range by 1.5 tile and damage by 25%. Okay, we're gonna have to see that. That is an Imperial upgrade because they do not have a capital ship. Okay, so they do not have a capital ship, as you can see right here. So because of that, they have a unique Imperial upgrade, which we're gonna see a little bit later on. Now, before we continue, let me show you the mill, and let me show you the mining camp, and let me show you how Knights Templar civilization works. So, on top of the wood stuff I already explained, they have regular upgrades in the mill and in the mining camp. Their upgrades are not cheaper. So again, even though this is a French variant civilization, they do not have any French bonuses. So their upgrades are not cheaper. Their buildings are not cheaper. So mill is 50 wood. Mining camp is 50 wood. So that is all normal. Farms are 75. Barracks, again, normal. Nothing crazy about that. We're going to make a barracks right there too. What's very interesting about them is, as you can see, there's no landmark option when you select villagers. They age up in town center. So if you press right here, the tooltip here is wrong. It's not 3 minutes and 10 seconds. It is 400 food, 200 gold. This is what their age up looks like. So you have always a choice between 3 different age ups each age, which gives you a total of 9 different age ups and bajillion different combinations. The first one, as you can see, the age up takes 1 minute, which is equivalent to 3 villagers. So if you look, if I'm building a villager and I go for the age up will not start. So you have to remove the villager queue in order for the age up to start. So what this means is that by aging up, you lose 3 villagers. Okay. So when you decide to age up, because it takes a minute, you lose 3 villagers compared to your opponent. Now, you do not need to put villagers on the age up, unlike every other civ except Abbasid and Ayyubid. So you do get a value there, and you don't have mining camps or lumber camps, sorry, so you get value there. But that's just how the civilization works. So each age up will give you 1 unique unit and 1 bonus. So you can see Knights Hospitalier will give you, increases the healing of all civilian units by 30% and increases the healing from all sources by 30%. You get Knight Hospitalier Knight as a unit, which is a melee infantry. Kingdom of France gives you military units are produced 15% faster and cost minus 5% gold. So for the rest of the game, all your gold units are 5% cheaper. And you get knights. Now these knights are cheaper than regular knights. So regular knight is 140, 100. These ones are 90, 80, but they also have less stats. And then last but not least, you got sergeants, which are very unique unit. So they are a ranged unit. They attack from range, but they do melee damage. So they're actually heavy melee infantry, but they do melee damage on their ranged attacks. So basically, these guys will absolutely butcher javelin throwers, for example. Javelin throwers do not do bonus damage against them because they count as melee units, even though they're having a ranged attack. So these guys can also kill horsemen, and because they have, I think they have 2 or 3 melee armor in Feudal Age, the horsemen do not counter them. And because horsemen have 0 armor, sergeants are actually pretty good against horsemen. Another interesting thing about them is because they are ranged unit, but they do melee damage. We're seeing, I think, first time interaction where a unit will actually do melee damage to a building. So these guys do not throw torches at buildings. They actually just hit buildings for 10 damage flat because the buildings do not have melee armor. As you can see right here, 0 melee armor. So when this guy hits at a TC, it just does 10 damage. That's what their damage is. It does 10 damage. And with upgrades, it's going to do more and more damage. So they're actually very good at destroying buildings too, because most buildings have fire armor. So that's it. We're going to go... Let's go for Knights Hospitalier. Now these bonuses, again, they're for the rest of the game. So melee units from Principality of Antioch will give your melee units 10% damage for all the units that are melee for the rest of the game. Actually, no, let's go for these guys. So the way the age up works, again, if I queue villagers behind it, this has to finish in order for your villagers to start building again. I'm gonna build a couple of spearmen, and you can see their buildings look also different from French ones too. One interesting thing about their towers, they do not have bombard placements. So their towers have arrow slits and springle, and that's it. They do not have bombard emplacement. Now, as we're aging up, you can see the age up right here. You can see this button here in the town center, which is Pilgrim Destination. Select a sacred site for your pilgrims to travel to. Pilgrims cannot travel to a sacred site captured by the enemy, which means if the enemy is holding sacred sites, you will lose a massive chunk of your economy. Can you scout the age up? You cannot scout the age up, but what you can scout is what they aged up with, because there's going to be a little flag right here. Boom. You can see Principality of Antioch. This is the flag that I just aged up with, and this is the flag that enables you to make sergeants, basically. So if you scout your opponent and they're playing Knights Templar, you need to know what the flags are so you can know which unique units they have gotten and what their bonuses are. When you age up to Castle, you get another flag here. When you age up to Imperial, you get a flag here. Now, we have aged up, so what now? Well, the easiest thing you can do, and what the meta is, I guess, that I discovered, is to get this upgrade immediately. I'm going to select for my pilgrims to go to this sacred site, and I am going to get this upgrade. So the way you make pilgrims is you get this upgrade. Safe passage, 200 food, 100 wood. It's very fast. It's only 10 seconds to upgrade. You can have a maximum of 10 pilgrims, okay? 10 pilgrims, that's it. So the moment this upgrade finishes, the pilgrim destination that I clicked was here. The pilgrim will immediately start moving. Now, you can only get 10 pilgrims. 2 are from these upgrades. The second upgrade is more expensive and takes a full villager to make. So right now I'll research that too. And this guy is already on the way. The pilgrim is on the way, and it's going to drop 130 gold off. Now, if I research this, which I'm going to show you right now, I researched the second upgrade. So now I have 2 pilgrims, but it will not spawn immediately. The way it works is the new pilgrims spawn every 60 seconds, and they only generate gold when they arrive, and then they disappear. So the second pilgrim that I just researched will start only in the next cycle of pilgrim spawning. So you'll see now we got 6 seconds. When this ends up happening, times out, 2 pilgrims will come out, and each one will give you 130 gold, and there they are. Pilgrims are very squishy. They got no armor, they got very slow movement speed, and you cannot move them. So as you can see, I cannot move pilgrims, you cannot micro them, you cannot do anything. Can pilgrims cross water? I actually don't know. We're gonna try that right now. That was a question someone asked me yesterday. So the way pilgrims work is they're gonna slowly walk, and they're very snipeable. They're very easy to harass and pick off. So a lot of the Knights Templar Civ is gonna be about protecting the pilgrims and make sure they're safe to the sacred side. Otherwise, you're gonna lose a lot of your economy, like I said. And here we go. Pilgrim is slowly arriving. Once it arrives at the sacred site, it has to be either yours or neutral. That's it, 130 gold, boom, it disappears, and 2 are already on the way. So you can see why this is pretty important, because you're losing villagers on the age ups, you kind of need pilgrims to kind of back up that economy, but then you also need to protect them. And the wood bonus that you have is very good for that as well. And as we can see, they cannot swim. So someone asked me what happens if you're on an island map. I don't know, but I assume they do not work, okay? And if there's no sacred signs on the map, well, you cannot get any gold, just like Delhi cannot. So let's talk about the distance. So they're not like traders, but they're kind of like traders in terms of gold. So what do I mean by this? If I trade here, or here, I will get 130 gold either way. But there's a minimum cutoff where if I'm trading to a sacred site here, or going to a sacred site here, I will get like 95 gold. If the sacred site is even closer, I will get 60 gold. If the sacred site is right here, I will probably get only 10 gold. But the difference is you will not gain more gold if pilgrims are close, or sorry, if the sacred sites are closer to your base, because they spawn every minute, no matter... Oh, is it 40 gold minimum? Okay. No matter the distance between the sacred site and the town center, they will always spawn every minute, okay? So there's no way to increase your gold per minute from pilgrims unless they are at that 130 gold per minute. So obviously, you don't need to put them in the furthest away sacred site. You want to put them at the closest one that gives you as close to 130 resources as possible. Do wolves attack them? Yes. Pilgrims can go over water. Well, they're going around here. So maybe if it's a full water map, I am not sure. They do not count towards pop cap. No. So let's build some more stuff, and let me show you some more of the civs, more of the civ stuff now that I've explained pilgrims to you guys. So hopefully you know and understand how they work. So let's build archer range, let's build a stable, let's build ships as well. As you can see, we got a hulk, we got a galley. Their ships look pretty cool. So nothing too crazy on the water. They got the same upgrades there. Transport ship, same thing. Now, we're gonna make some sergeants. These are the guys that I told you about. They're attacking from range, but if you look, their damage is throwing axe, and it counts as melee damage. So when you play against Knight Templar, Hawks have Q ability. Yeah, every Springle ship does. So when they attack from range, this is how they attack. That's their auto attack, right? So when you're playing against sergeants, or when you're playing Knights Templar, have in mind that ranged armor does not help against these guys. Thank you, Wayman. Ranged armor does not help you against these guys. Melee armor helps you against these guys, okay? So that is very, very important. So if you look, I'm gonna get blacksmith right here. You can see they have +1 damage. The reason they have +1 damage is because of the age up bonus. If you age up with this one right here, you get 10% melee damage for all your units. So even my spearmen have 8 + 1 damage. And if I get bloomery, spearmen will have 8 + 2 damage, and sergeants will have 9 + 2. That's very, very important. So if you're fighting against mass of these guys, you need to get melee armor, and if you're fighting with them, you need to get melee attack melee damage, okay? So, yeah, they don't have any bonus damage against anything, but they do have 4 melee armor. So these guys will absolutely destroy spearmen. So if you're not sure what to make, do not make spearmen, because spearmen are gonna basically, if the normal spearman is 8 damage, is gonna attack them for 4 damage, and these guys can kite too. Alright, next thing. Let's talk about archers. Archers are just archers, nothing really there. Too complicated. You can see they got cool outfits. I really like the way Knights Templar units look, by the way. I think they look really cool, so I love that. And then we have horsemen, which are just horsemen. Now, I'm going to show you the different age ups too, by the way, later on. Like, I'm going to show you the other units too. I just want to cover everything at the same time. Or I'll cover everything first and then show you the other ones. So, what cool thing exists about Knights Templar is market. You cannot make traders with this civilization. This is something I suspected when we were looking at those screenshots and stuff like that. But Knights Templar cannot make traders yet. We'll see that in a moment. There is a lettre de change, which will show you in castle what it does exactly. Town center is just a town center, nothing crazy about that. And they can build fortress, which is their keep, basically. Let me show you what that does. Fortress costs 300 gold, 600 stone, okay? And this is a very interesting one. So it is a keep. Now, what fortress does, remember how I told you can build 10 pilgrims? 2 are from the upgrade, and each next pilgrim is by making a fortress. So now I can have 3 pilgrims total, which you're about to see. 3 pilgrims are going to come out. And each fortress that I make after that is going to give me another pilgrim. So now these 3 guys are 130 gold each. So I'm going to change it back to this sacred site. So if I build 5 more fortresses, I will have 5 more pilgrims on the way. Okay? So we'll talk about this in a little bit. Let's talk about this upgrade and the passive upgrade for the fortress, which is very interesting and again, very, very unique. So let me show you guys. You can see this unit is not getting any buff, okay? But the archers are. Now, what the fortress does, it gives you, improves the range of nearby ranged units by 15%. But have in mind, sergeants are not ranged units, they're melee heavy infantry, so they do not get this bonus. But archers do get 15% more range, so now they have a range of 575. And there's another upgrade you can get in Feudal, which is Desert Citadels. Improves the Desert Outpost aura on fortresses to also increase the armor of nearby units by 1/1. And this is something that all your units will receive. So you can see, improves the range of nearby, this should say nearby ranged units, not nearby units, by 50% and armor 1/1. So now my archers also get 1/1 armor as well. So it is very strong to fight around fortresses for Knight Templar because of the bonuses that they receive. Now you might be wondering, what is the influence? Because you have an influence on the main town center and when you have an influence here. Now this is a very weird one and very unique, so bear with me. Fortress influence. The Templar headquarters in fortresses grant stone walls in influence, 25% health, and an arrow slit in placement. Which means that if I make stone walls in the influence, my stone walls have 750 health, and they have arrow slits on them. So these stone walls can literally shoot. You can see right there, there's little arrow slits position. And every single stone wall in here has arrow slits. Now, the fortress has 4,000 health, by the way, and this also works on your town center, by the way. Now, the gate does not shoot, so have that in mind. If you make a gate, that does not shoot. Now, this, you can also make it around your town center, and so if you go like this, all these will be arrow slits, okay? All these walls will be arrow slits. Now, why is this made? I personally think, right, I don't know for a fact, but I would assume because you only have TC as your landmark, and these are your landmarks that are going to be out on the map, it's kind of like an extra protection so you don't get landmark sniped, because you can get landmark sniped very, very easily. It sounds broken to me. It's arrow slits. It's not that crazy. And also, if you have a choice to build more stone walls or to build another fortress, you're probably going to choose another fortress because it gives you another pilgrim. Now, you can do stuff like this, right? Where you can build a farm around your main TC and you can wall it off, and that way you're not harassable, but also you have arrow slits on all your walls, okay? That's pretty much it, actually, for Feudal Age. So I think we can move on to the next age. So if you look, I'm going to build another 2 fortresses here, and you will see that I'm going to get 5 pilgrims after I finish these 2. So the idea behind Knights Templar is kind of to secure the line all the way to sacred sites. So preferably you want to have 1 fortress here, 1 fortress here, 1 fortress here, 1 fortress here, 1 fortress there, and kind of make a line of them in order to defend your pilgrims, because there are a lot of passive income. As you can see, with 3 pilgrims, because they spawn every minute, they're giving you 520-ish gold per minute, the way it works, okay? And now we have 5, so you can have a maximum of 10. Now, next thing, age up. Let's talk about it. So again, age up right now. So this is the interesting part. The first age up is 1 minute. Okay? The second age up is 45 seconds. Okay? Very interesting. So now you only lose 2 villagers and a bit. Now I'm just gonna go the third one, all options, and I'm gonna show you the second and the first options right after and give you a rundown of the units. So, Kingdom of Castile, units near sacred sites gain 20% damage and regenerate health. Again, if I try to build villagers, oh, dude, I got so confused. I was like, wait, what the hell? How am I building villagers? It's because I have this TC hotkey, click W. I was so confused there. I was like, wait, how am I building villagers? Let me do the cheat code so it finishes. And because I aged up with Kingdom of Castile, you see the flag here. And you can see the units, by the way, which I forgot to mention, right here and right there. So what did we get with this? Well, let me show you. I'm just gonna go to a sacred site in order to show you their bonus. We're gonna upgrade the units. So these are their spearmen right here. These are their archers. These are their sergeants. So, by the way, sergeants are built in barracks. So something to have in mind. This is their men-at-arms. Their men-at-arms are regular men-at-arms. Nothing crazy about it. Although, they do have the bonus from the Feudal Age Up. 10% extra damage. I'm going to get all the Feudal upgrades too. And if you look now, when my horsemen arrive, the unique bonus for this Age Up is nearby sacred sites give you 20% damage and +1 health every second. So this is like Kurultai for Mongol. So no matter which sacred site you go to as Knights Templar, you will receive this buff. And it's going to help you obviously defend your pilgrims or hold sacred sites. And you can kind of see the range on this right here. There you go. That's the range. That is kind of the range around the sacred site. So it is good, but at the same time, you kind of have to be almost on top of it, right? So have that in mind. But obviously, if you have this, it's going to be very, very good. Look at this gold now. Love that. So 5 pilgrims, 650-ish gold per minute, and there we go, 5 more are coming, and you can see why it's so important to protect them and why it's important to deny them. Now veteran sergeants now have 14 damage, just flat 14 damage, so now they're kind of just getting better against everything, and the armored units don't impact them as much. Water, again, nothing, we don't got nothing crazy there, it's all the same. Blacksmith. We do have a new unit, of course, 2 new units. One is their knights, and the other one is their Genitors, which are ranged horsemen, light cavalry, javelin throwers. So these guys do 5 base damage with no upgrades. So javelin throwers from Malian do a lot more base damage. These guys do only 5. So basically, if you were to fight men-at-arms, you would be doing 1 damage per hit without any upgrades, which is not a lot. So, wait, do they not have voice lines? They don't have voice lines? Okay, I'm assuming that's going to be added at some point. I'm not sure why they don't, but click W. They're the only ones that don't? Okay. So yeah, they're ranged javelin throwers, and I'll show you guys how the attack works. So if you're ever playing, you know, against a civilization that heavy focuses on range units like English or House of Lancaster or something, you can go for these guys and use them to counter enemy range units. And they're also very good for raiding because the only units that can counter you are horsemen. You can just kite away from spearmen or men-at-arms or whatever else. How are they against Mengudai? They absolutely destroy any ranged horse cavalry. So these guys got 4 ranged armor. And then +2 from the upgrades. So Mengudai do not do much against them, and they will absolutely murder Mengudai. Also, they counter Rus horse archers as well. So that's their role. That's what they're supposed to do. Now, let's talk about the knights. So their knights are Templar brothers. They finally put in my unit into the game. Brothers. And Templar brothers are knights. They cost 120 food, 140 gold. A lot of Knights Templar units cost gold because they have so much gold income from pilgrims if you manage to actually escort them. They look pretty cool. I like them. Now, they have a unique upgrade, which is Rule of Templars. Gain +2 charge damage per nearby charging heavy cavalry. You read that correct. So that means if you have 100, or let's say 50, if you have 100 Templar, 50 Templar brothers, sorry, brain AFK, they will be doing 100 bonus charge damage. Yeah. So, do I think this is going to be a problem in 1v1s? Not really. I don't think this is going to impact 1v1s, because in 1v1s you're not going to have like 30, 40, 50 knights. You're going to have 10, 20, so I'm not sure how often this upgrade will be used in 1v1. This upgrade will be very, very, very good in FFAs and team games. Very, very good. Yeah. How nearby is nearby? Right here. You can see it. So you can fit 50 Templar brothers right here. So you can, with 50 of them, you can get bonus 100 damage per charge. Again, I don't think this is going to be an issue in 1v1s. I do think in team games, in FFAs, this is going to be crazy good. And obviously, Japanese mounted samurai, for example, are going to be very good because they can block the charge. But other knights are going to be absolutely destroyed. So I suspect this will get nerfed sometime in the future to probably +1 charge damage, because you're almost going to be half, like, two-shotting enemy knights. So, Byzantine still blocks the charge? Yeah. Spearman? Yeah, Spearman blocked the charges. So, last thing we want to talk about is Lettre de Change. So, what is this? So, Knights Templar do not have traders. What Knights Templar do have is they can put a loan. Watch this. What you do is you provide a loan to Pilgrims that will be repaid at a rate of 300 gold per minute for 2 minutes. So, you give 1,000 food, and you get 300 gold after a minute and 300 gold when that ends. So it is in your best interest to have very good food eco so that you can put in food and then get gold back. But, so the ratio is 1,000 food for 600 gold. Now, obviously you can do this, but this is gonna very fast be 100 food for 10 gold. So you do get very good value. There's a bigger one, which is 2,500 food for 1,800 gold, which is obviously a lot better. And then there's this one, which is 4,000 food for 3,600 gold, which is obviously very, very good. Even the first one is very good. Obviously, 1,000 food is a lot, but all of them are very, very good. So you can have a crap ton of gold. So potentially there's going to be some strategies where instead of going for Pilgrims, maybe you go 2TC Fast Castle and you just immediately do Pilgrim loans for gold income. I don't know. We'll see. What happens when Pilgrims are killed? Pilgrims do not give you this, guys. You get it at the trade. I'm pretty sure you just get it here. The Pilgrims don't deliver those. So I'm pretty sure now when this expires, you just get gold in the market. So if you do these loans, the Pilgrims got nothing to do with that. Is it per market? That's actually a good question. I have no idea. Let me test it. I don't think so, but we'll see. No, it's not per market. It's not per market. So once you get it, every market is like that. Okay. So there's a global cooldown. You cannot do per market would be OPSO. Let's see what else we got. We got Monastery and we have Siege Workshop. We got their towers right here. This is the arrow slit. Their towers look pretty cool, I think. I personally like the look. I don't know how you guys feel about them, but I think they look pretty cool. So, Siege Workshop. Cost for Siege Workshop is 188 wood. Their Siege Workshops are cheaper, and their Siege is cheaper as well on the wood. So, as you can see, Treb is 300 wood, Mangonel is 300 wood, Springle is 112, Ram is 150. So that's another one of their bonuses. And then monks are just monks, but they do have unique upgrade, which I'm going to show you in a little bit. So prepare yourself. What if you can't pay the loan? You pay the food first. What happens if your market is destroyed? I assume if you have a second, I don't know, but I'm assuming if you have a second market, you're fine. If you have only one, I don't know. Okay, I think that's it for Castle. Actually, it's not. We have another unique upgrade. So Fortress has a normal upgrade, normal attack, sorry. Another upgrade we do get is Treasure Towers, which I'm going to send the villager over here to show you. What this does is increases the gold generations of monasteries, sacred sites, and pilgrims by 20% within the aura of a fortress. So what you want to do is, if you are getting relics, you want your monastery to be in the range, and the relics will be gathering more gold as well. So only gold. So tight barns will not get affected. So if we take this villager and we put a fortress right here, I'm going to show you guys in a second, the pilgrims will be dropping off more gold after the research is completed. So here we go. I'm building a fortress. Boom. And now the pilgrims should be dropping off, what is it, 20% extra gold as well. Very tower defense oriented here. Well, that's the interesting part. In theory, yes, but it's very hard to set up all these defenses. So you're actually going to defend with units most of the time. Boop. And because of that upgrade, now we get more gold. All right, let's go to the next age up, which is going to be the final one. And we're going to go with Republic of Venice. Reduces the change in the market buy or sell price by 75% when trading resources at the market. So what does this mean? Let me show you quickly. I'm going to sell all my wood. And you can see each sell I do, it's reducing how much gold I'm getting by 2. You guys see that? 52, 50, 48, 46, 44, 42, and so on. If I age up with Republic of Venice, which I will, I'm going to get unique ship, unique unit, and we get a trader. Now this is a really funny one, so let's go with that. We have aged up. So if you look now, if I sell, it's only going down by 1 every 2 trades. So look at this. 65 didn't go down. Goes down by 1. 2 trades goes down by 1. So you get a lot more efficient trades. And so even if you're buying, it's the same. Oh, for buying it goes up by 1 every time. Okay, so for buying it goes up by 1 every time. For selling, it goes down every 2 trades by 1. Okay, that's very important. Now let me show you something really funny, which is the traders. You can have a maximum of 5 traders, and only if you age up with the Republic of Venice. Watch this. They are very fast. They are running, boy. They are very, very fast. But you can only make 5 of them. Okay? So that's it. You can only have 5 of them. Yeah, they look funny. They do. All right, let's continue with the units. Spearmen, boom. Men-at-Arms, boom. This is their final look. I want to show you guys what the units look like. Obviously, I took yellow, so it's going to look... It looks really good in red, I think. In purple, their units look cool. So in some, the units are going to look pretty cool. In some, they're going to look pepega. I think yellow doesn't look too great on them. Sergeants, we're going to upgrade those. That's their final look right there. Archers, Crossbow, which I didn't even make. W. And then Genitors, upgraded fully. Now, you might be noticing one thing. There's a unit missing. Knight Templars do not have any bombard units. They do not have a bombard emplacement on the tower. They do not have a bombard emplacement on the fortress. They do not have hand cannoneers. They do not have bombards. They do not have culverins. And they do not have Republicans. They do not have any of that. Let me show you the keep. The keep second emplacement is a Trebuchet emplacement, and the range on this is quite far. As you can see, it's already auto-targeting a poor wolf. So anyway, they're not very good against units, but what you're supposed to do with these, which is kind of interesting, is you're supposed to build a fortress where the enemy keep is. So if the enemy keep is here, if you build a fortress here, you can upgrade Trebuchet. You're supposed to treb the enemy's buildings with your fortresses and Trebuchet emplacements on them. Because the enemy, you know, sometimes you treb your opponent and they just run in, kill your Trebuchets and you're dead. Don't tell me you're still shooting. So these fortresses and Trebuchets emplacements are... They're supposed to siege the enemy keeps and the enemy base. So you will see a lot of strategies that revolve around... That's it. So you will see a lot of strategies that revolve around you building a fortress and sniping enemy buildings and sniping enemy keeps and so on and so forth. Now there's another unique upgrade that we've just unlocked. Iron clamps reinforcing the walls reduces incoming damage from gunpowder, which is bombards, by 20% for stone walls and fortresses. So they're going to be a lot harder to kill. Boom, there we go. And as you can see, guys, once again, you see flags even on the fortresses that you aged up with right there. So you can, the opponent doesn't have to scout your town center to know what you aged up with. They can just look at your fortresses as well. Now, let's go further. So I showed you guys the markets. I showed you the fortresses. I don't dare upgrade Trebuchet emplacements, but they are very good against buildings, in all seriousness. Now, let's talk about Condottieri, mamma mia. Now you're reading this correctly. These guys cost only gold. And these guys are wild. Condottieri. Warfare experience, receiving minus 20% damage from enemy gunpowder units. So these guys are to counter hand cannoneers. They have 20 melee damage, plus 16 versus gunpowder, and 16 versus siege. Horseman movement speed, to just give you guys a little, you know. Horseman movement speed is 188. This guy's movement speed is 144. So these guys are very, very fast. Now, these guys do 20 damage per hit. They 3-shot villagers in Imperial. So if these guys enter your wood line or your gold, their stuff's dead. Let me put it that way. So they are very, very good. They do have 1/1 armor, so they're not men-at-arms, and they cost only gold. They do not cost food, only gold. Let me get university. Blacksmith, we're gonna get all the upgrades. Nothing weird there, nothing too crazy. Siege. Nothing too crazy. Now, one thing that I forgot to mention is you might have seen from the Fortress Trebuchet, their Trebuchet has 2 attacks. So when the Trebuchet fires, it fires 2 attacks. Because they don't have bombards, they will fire 2 projectiles. Okay? Now, there's an upgrade right there. Fanaticism. Templar brothers and Commandery units gain 10% damage when below 50% health, and plus 30% damage when below 25% health. So, what does this give buff to? Well, these guys, when they get under 50%, they get 10% damage. When they get under 25% health, they get 30% damage. Now, all units that are aged up through Commanderies, which is the age up mechanic, so that means sergeants, genitors, or the guys, what are they called? Condottieri, they will also get the same thing, okay? So they will get the exact same buffs. So no matter which age up you go through, if you upgrade that thing, the units will also be receiving that. So not spearmen, not archers, not crossbows, just the unique units. Now, I want to mention that pilgrims are not religious units, so upgrading like religious things here will not give you extra HP on them, okay? Now, there's some unique upgrades here, but let's get the the standard ones that everybody knows about. Counterweight defenses. All trebuchet weapons gain +1 projectiles, which means once you get this upgrade, your trebuchet will be firing 3 attacks. Okay, that would have killed that wolf, I'm telling you. That would have killed that wolf guaranteed. More chances to hit that wolf for sure. Here we go. There you go. So their trebuchets are very nice. Crossbows, crank quins. Okay, cranking. Crossbows are able to load stronger bolts that have 0.5% range and +2 damage. The reason this is in is because they don't have hand cannoneers, so they need their crossbows to be juiced up. So we'll get that. I don't think this changes what the crossbows look like. I might be wrong, but I don't think so. So there we go. And then the last upgrade is Brigantine. Common soldiers are equipped with more resistant armor. Light cavalry gains 2 armor, which means that the horsemen go from 3 armor, 8 armor in Imperial, to 5 armor, 10 armor. So their horsemen are going to be very, very, very good. Now, I'm trying to think if so they have Notre Dame. I'm trying to think if I forgot anything. I did forget something. So we talked about they don't have a capital ship, right? And they have this. So let's get these upgrades. So they have Crusader fleets. Upgrades hulks with flaming ballistas, which increase range by 1.5 tiles and damage by 25%. There we go. So now they have... Well, I can't do a ground attack. Wait, I have an idea. Let's see what that attack looks like, as I personally don't even know. We're gonna sacrifice poor sheep right here. Oh, wow. Wait, that range is massive. What the hell? What the hell? 8.5! That's really good, actually. Wow. But because we aged up with Republic of Venice, we also have the Venetian galley. So this is the ship that we have seen in the pictures and the preview videos. That is right. This civilization has a trebuchet attack. Yep. So this civilization has a trebuchet attack. The attack speed is very slow. It's 11 attack speed. Every 11 seconds it attacks, which is very, very slow. Look how slow it loads. But I'm assuming that this is obviously very good against buildings, but it also does 28 damage plus 100 versus ships, and it does 3 burst attacks. So in theory, you can have a massive fleet and you can have 3-4 of these in the back just shooting at the enemy ships, and the enemy has to engage into you. So it has massive range, 16 tile range, so you can force your opponent to engage into you, which is another reason why I think Knight Templar might be the best civilization on water, or at least a civilization that is going to contest China and Jushi as the best civilization on water. This, combined with not needing to drop off wood, build lumber camps, is really, 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 really good. And I think I have covered everything, guys. I think that is pretty much it. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else. But let's go ahead, reload the game. And let me show you guys the other age-up units quickly and the age-up bonuses and explain how they work. So let's do it. Does the treb upgrade affect the ship too? Yes. I'm assuming, because it has 3 attacks. So, age up, we'll do number 2, Kingdom of France. Military units are produced 15% faster and cost 5% less gold. So if we age up with that, again, you can see the unit, you can see the age up. If we build a barracks, you can now produce Chevalier Confrères in Feudal Age. What do these guys do? They are basically budget knights. They are basically heavy cavalry, but they're cheaper than knights. They cost 90 food and 76 gold. They do 14 damage and 21 lens damage, so almost half of what knights do. But what they do have is a little unique thing right here. And you might notice, what is that +4 health? Gains +1 max health for each nearby heavy cavalry. So if we make a lot of these, I got 36 of them, so I got 35 bonus health. And once again, I don't think this is going to be an issue in 1 versus 1s, but in team games and in FFAs, this is pretty good. So, yeah. I think the other one is a lot better, to be honest. The charge one is a lot better. So yeah, these guys are just, basically you get access to budget knights in Feudal Age. That's how you should look at them. Let's move on. Let's go to the next stage up, because I explained all the other mechanics so far. And once again, this affects, the bonus affects all units. So Man-at-Arms now cost 19 gold. Templar brothers are cheaper, crossbows are cheaper on gold, so every unit, even the ships. So I'm gonna show you guys just so you can see. Apes together strong. Yep, it do be like that. So as you can see, demo ships are now 76 gold, hulks are 28 gold. So let's go to the next age up. We will go with Republic of Genoa. Pilgrims generate 30% extra gold. Very self-explanatory. Your pilgrims will not be dropping 30% extra gold. Boom. And you get access to Genoese crossbowmen. I don't know why I did the French accent there, but... So, let me get some pilgrims as well, so you guys can see this in action. And let's build a fortress there too, so you can see how much total gold you can receive from that, plus the upgrade in the fortress. Sorry, my brain went dent there. So what did we unlock here? We unlocked crossbows. Now these are really weird, and we're gonna upgrade these guys. They look really cool, by the way. I wanna say that they look pretty cool, and obviously so when you upgrade the Templar charge, so I upgraded Rules of Templars. These other heavy cavalry do not get that buff, but gains +1 health for each nearby heavy cavalry. It doesn't say that you have to build these ones to get bonus HP. Same thing, gains +2 charge damage per heavy cavalry, which means that if you put these units together, they will be buffing each other with the charge and the other damage, okay? So have that in mind. We're gonna do this upgrade, increases the gold generation from monasteries, sacred stones, and pilgrims by 20%. And once this pilgrim arrives, it should be dropping off a lot more gold. And you can see here how many fortresses you have. 233 gold. You can click through this, by the way, to see where your fortresses are. Remember, fortresses are unique landmarks, okay? They're unique landmarks, but if they get destroyed, you cannot repair them. So if I destroy it, you can't repair it. It's gone. It's gone forever. Now, the crossbows. Genoese crossbow. So these guys have 1 ranged armor. So let's compare them to normal crossbow. Normal crossbow has 0/0 armor, 13 damage, +10 versus heavy, 80 health. It costs 80-38, or 80-40, I guess. These ones cost 80 food, 100 gold, 95 with discount. So what's the difference? HP is 110. They do have 1 ranged armor. They are a bit slower. And they do 23 base damage. From 13 to 23 base damage. +9 versus melee infantry. So these crossbows do not have bonus against armored units. They have bonus against melee infantry. Which means with the blacksmith upgrades that they're doing 32 damage a shot. And they do 32 damage to spearmen, to man-at-arms, whatever other melee infantry. Their attack speed is slow. It's 262. Crossbows are 212. So they are slower. They do shoot slower, but they do a lot more damage. So that's something to have in mind. And last but not least, they have 6 range. So this is the range of the normal crossbows. Right, from there, this is the range of Genitors crossbow. Right, it's 6 tile range, this one is 5, yeah. So you can see it right here. Boop. That's a lot of range. So they are very microable, although they're very slow and they're very, you know, they take a little bit to get going, but they do a lot of damage. So there it is, and you get 30% extra gold from your Pilgrims. And the last age up is Teutonic Order. This might be my favorite unit. For now, we'll see. All gold units that you have up until this point will be getting 2 melee armor. They cannot use pavis? No. Once again, guys, Knight Templar have nothing in common with French. Zero. Nothing. Nobody. Nothing. Nothing. They only look... The buildings look similar. That's it. They do not have anything similar. Now, the age up I just went with is Teutonic Order. What they have is every gold unit gets +2 melee armor, which means that your regular crossbows now have 5 armor. Your Genitors crossbows also have 5 armor. Your horses in Imperial Age, let me just fully juice them up, they have 9 melee armor. The Knights have 10 melee armor and 8 ranged armor. So no matter what gold unit it is, here we go. Man-at-arms will also be having 10, 10 melee armor and 9 range armor. What did I... Dude, man-at-arms have 6 range armor normally? Or am I crazy? And then horsemen do not get that bonus because horsemen cost wood and not gold. So, what else? Well, let me just upgrade these guys too so you guys can see. Let me build university. Let me show you the final stats of all units and show you the... So someone asked earlier if this upgrade affects the Genoese crossbowmen. Yes, it does. So now they have 6.5 tile range. These are their final stats with all upgrades. They do 34 damage, 44 against melee infantry, which is quite a lot. And these guys, the chandeliers, I'm just gonna call them chandeliers. I mean chevalier, chandeliers. The chandeliers have, I'm gonna move them on their own. So chandeliers on their own have 288 health, but obviously, like I said, the more of them you have, the more HP they stack. So chandelier can go up to way more health, and I'm assuming this is the range, so I'm assuming in FFAs you can probably make like 200-300 of them. So now they have 420 health blazing. And the unit that I personally love and I think is cool as fuck, I need you guys to get ready, I need you to sit down, I need you to calm down.
Baillez votre commandement. J'attends les commandements, c'est comme vous voulez.
Stop.
J'irai si où vous voudrez.
You see this guy walking up to you? What do?
Oui,
that's right.
Je l'emprunte tantôt.
So,
Baillez votre commandement. Marchons vers la bataille.
31 damage per hit. For comparison, melee, man-at-arm, regular man-at-arm got 20 damage. This guy fucking cucks you with 31 damage per hit. Man-at-arm has 207 HP with full upgrades. 356. 11 armor and 9. Man-at-arm has 10 armor and 9, so it has 1 more melee armor. Movement speed, they are slower. Attack speed, same as man-at-arm. Now, they got 2 buffs right there. And And they cost 80 food and 100 gold. So they are expensive, but they're very good. This is potentially their best unit from Knights Templar. Teutonic Wrath debuffs nearby enemy units with -2/-2 armor, which is very, very, very strong. The reason for that is you can mix these guys with archers. So if you go pure archer and Teutonic Knights, you will absolutely annihilate the enemy. That does not stack? No, it does not stack. But debuffing your enemy with -2/-2 armor is really, really good. And this is AoE. So if this guy walks in, let's say these are enemy units. If he just walks in, they're all debuffed with -2/-2. Okay? So they don't need to attack them. They're AoE debuff. For how long? For as long as they're alive. For as long as they're alive. So... what's the other one, you might ask? And this is a very Chad bonus, and I gotta warn you. You gotta sit down. Teutonic Battle Glory permanently gains 5 health and 1 damage for each kill. Now, I don't know if this works on sheep and deer and wolves, but in theory, you can get insane amounts of health. Let's see. I don't know if it works on... It does not work. Okay, let's find a wolf, maybe. We teleport. Oh, it works on wolves! Wait, does it? Wait, did it change or am I dented? Or maybe the HP dropped. 362? It does work, baby. So you can kill wolves. Does it work on deer? I don't think so. I don't think so, but let's check. Sheep, it does not work. Deer, it does not work. Boar, I'm assuming it should work, right? Because it's aggressive. Oh wow, it does not. So it works on wolf, but it does not work on other units. Now guys, this looks like it's an OP bonus. Have in mind, in order for these guys to like buff up and stay alive. This is individual, by the way. This is not... like, not all your Teutonic Knights got this, okay? You can see, this one's got 356, this guy got 368. So it doesn't work on every single one. It's individual, okay? That's how it works. But it is permanent. Yeah, you have to keep them alive. So if with some healing or something, you can get away with it. Now, let me show you the last 3 units, and then we're done. Literally everything you need to know about Knights Templar to start, to play with them, to play against them, to whatever, you will know everything. Show Knight Templar or pure water or Pilgrims? Okay, let me see. That's a good idea. How difficult is Knight Templar? It's about, I would say it's a 2-star difficulty civ. Oh yes, another thing I didn't show you guys. Oh my god, thank you so much. I almost forgot. Let's disable the map reveal state. Let's disable, just to show you guys something. Knights Templar is the only and the first civilization that when you spawn, not only you see sacred sites, but you also see relics. That's right. So at the start of every game, you will see where the sacred sites are and the relics, and obviously this is not insane for 1v1s. Again, team games also not too crazy. For FFAs, this is really good. This is really, really good. So let's do the last age ups and show you guys what the thing is all about. And let's try if Pilgrims can go over water, because I genuinely don't know. So the age up is going to be Knights Hospitalier, increases the health of all civilian units by 30% and increases the healing from all sources by 30%. Boom! And now your villagers have 65 health, so if you get textiles, your villagers will have 98 health. So if you're Pepega and you lose your villagers, this age up is great for you. Is the Pilgrim going to swim? By the way, the age up bonus, the 30% health, also works on Pilgrims. So your Pilgrims with that age up will give you bonus 22 HP. Moment of truth. Do they walk on water? There it is. There it is. Now, I want to show you guys something. They're only giving 105 gold, okay? This has nothing to do with water. The reason it's giving 105 gold is because this sacred site is too close. So if this sacred site was like here, it would give me 130. So there is a distance that once you reach that, it's going to give you less gold. So, yeah. Oh, you see what just happened? This pilgrim spawned here and it's giving 105. This one spawned in the back and it's giving 110. That's very interesting. Alright, so let me show you the units, which are Hospitalier Knights. So what are Hospitalier Knights? Let me upgrade them. Hospitalier Knights are like monks. They're like monk men-at-arms. Okay? They're monk men-at-arms. So, what they do is they can heal units like priests and prelates can in Feudal Age, but they do not have 2-2 armor, they have 2-1 armor. Okay? They're 2-1 armor. So, yeah. I'm not sure how much use they're going to have. If you're playing against a civ that has heavy ranged units, like longbows, they're not going to do too great, but you can micro them, you can send them back, they can heal your units. If you play team games, I can see these guys being very good. You can attack your opponent and then, you know, go back with your ally and heal up and stuff like that. And all the healing from all the sources is increased by 30%, so have that in mind. Next one is Angevin Empire. Now this one we kind of discussed before DLC got released, that the bonuses are pretty bad, and to be fair, they're not the greatest. These two bonuses are a lot better. The units near sacred sites, to be honest, this one is the best in my opinion. Prepare to be disgusted. Angevin Empire. Let's upgrade these guys. Once you upgrade a Hospitalier Knights into Veteran, this is what they look like. Pretty cool. They get 3-3 armor, so they're more like men-at-arms, but men-at-arms have 4-4 armor in Castle Age. They can still heal, so all that is same. Get all the upgrades. Now, your fortress does have bonus HP, so we have 30% extra HP on docks and fortress, so if you're fighting on water, you can go for this. Boom, docks have more HP, very cool. Now let me show you this unit. Again, this is you know, a spearman, you know, counters cavalry, overall a cool guy, cool dude. And this is the guy she tells you not to worry about. Let's compare the stats. Let's compare the cost. 60 wood, 60 food, 20 wood. 70 food, 30 gold. 110 HP, 140 HP. 0 melee armor. 4 melee armor. 0 ranged armor. Or ranged armor. So these spearmen are basically men-at-arms spearmen. And Jesus, they're good. They're very good, guys. They are slower, and you can see kind of the story behind these unique units. All of them are slower compared to what the regular units are, but they are a lot stronger. So, spearmen do 11 damage, these guys do 13. Spearmen do 23 bonus versus cavalry, these guys do 25 bonus versus cavalry. And their spear wall damage is higher by 6 as well. You can mass these guys. The way to counter these guys, the only way to counter these guys are crossbows. Spearmen will lose to them. Men-at-arms will trade evenly, maybe slightly better. Knights will get absolutely demolished. Horsemen will get demolished. Archers will get demolished. So the only counter to these guys are going to be crossbows and hand cannoneers. So they're very, very strong, and in my opinion, probably the strongest unit coming from Knight Templar, followed by maybe Teutonic Knight right after. But we have one more unit, which is Kingdom of Poland. All cavalry gain 10% health and 50% charge damage. Now, if you guys remember the earlier age ups, we had some stuff with, you know, we went with the chandeliers in feudal age. Then you can go Templar brothers and their upgrades, and now you can get Schlanzschla cavalry. So their bonuses, your cavalry gains 10% health and 50% charge damage. But before that, let's look at these guys and their final stats. As soon as I find a place to build on this map, we need a stable. We'll build that right there. Upgrade these guys and these guys. So, Elite Hospitaller Knights got 210 health, but we're about to get University upgrades too. I just get all of them. So these guys got 242 HP right now, and they can heal when they're out of combat. I mean, they can heal in combat too. They look very cool. I love the look. The Spearmen, they have another upgrade, by the way, which I forgot to mention. Heavy Spearmen gain 20% health and 20% damage near fortresses, which means that their final stats are 235 Spearmen that have as much armor as men-at-arms. And then we have, of course, we have Templar brothers. So because of the age up I just went, green looks a lot better on them than yellow. Because of the age up that I just went, if you look at the lance charge damage, they're doing 69 charge damage. This is before Rule of Templars that will also give you 2 charge damage per heavy cavalry nearby. So these guys can do charge damage of over 150. And they do have 10% bonus HP from the age up, Polish Fortitude, so they have total of 446 health. Now if we made the other guys, which chandeliers, which we don't have, the chandeliers will also have 10% extra HP. Will the Rule of Templar also get 50% charge damage? I don't know how the math works, but I would assume that's how it does work. I don't know. Now, Schlasla Cavalry, Polish language is beautiful as always, and very easy to pronounce. This is the last unique unit that I'll be showing you guys from Knight Templar. Bludgeoning attacks decreases enemy attack speed by 20% on hit. So every time it hits an enemy, it reduces the attack speed of the enemy by 20%. This is not an aura, this is single target attack. Now their stats, let's go look at them. They got 2 melee armor based and 8 ranged armor, which is very, very high. Very, very high. Their HP is 472. And if you look at their damage, they are hitting for 35 damage with bonus of +8 versus light infantry. Their lance does 76 damage. So if we compare this to a we have a knight here. Let's compare it to a knight. So knight does 32 damage. These guys do 35 +8 versus light infantry, which is spearman, archer, and crossbow and hand cannoneer, or maybe not hand cannoneer. Lance damage is 69, nice, versus 76. HP, these guys have more HP, and they reduce enemy attack speed. So if you're fighting knights versus cavalry, they will debuff them to attack slower and absolutely butcher your ass. And I think we've covered everything. I think we have covered everything. Guys, this is literally everything you need to know about Knight Templar. I don't think there's anything else. We've done everything you need to know about House of Lancaster. Now we've done everything you need to know about Knights Templar. If you're not watching this on YouTube, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I am making this video on April 3rd of 2025. So depending if you're watching this later on, some things might be changed, but most of these things will be the way they are in this video. And if you're watching on YouTube in April of 2025, I'm doing a subathon right now, which you can see right there, live on Twitch 24/7. feel free to tune in. The clown show must go on. Twitch gamers, let's keep going.